Hello everyone, welcome to the channel CodesUp. This is the first video of our Java interview series, and in this series we will see the Java interview question chapter wise. In this video we will see chapter 1 interview question, that is the chapter about platform independence. So we will see most and commonly asked Java interview question related to the platform independence. So let's get started. So first question is, why Java is so popular? So it doesn't matter whether you are fresher or experienced, interviewer may ask you this question, that is why Java is so popular. So let's see answer of this question. So yeah, there are two main reasons for popularity of Java. First one is the platform independence, that is the platform independence means build once, run anywhere. We will see it in details in the next question. Second point, why Java is so popular is object oriented language. Although it is not 100% object oriented language, pure object oriented language, but yeah, it is object oriented language also. So let's move to the next question. The second question that is most and commonly asked in the Java interviews, that is why Java is platform independence. So let's see answer to this question. What do you mean by platform independence? When someone say Java is platform independence, what actually it means? So platform independence is also called build once, run anywhere. So it means Java is one of the most popular platform independence language. Once we compile a Java program and build a jar, we can run the jar, that is our compiled Java program, in any operating system where JVM is installed. So for example, let's discuss it more. Java achieves platform independence in a beautiful way. On compiling a Java program, as you can see in this diagram, on compiling a Java file, the output is a class file. That is, first one is Java code, that is our .java files. When we compile this, then .class file, that is jar file, will be generated, and this jar file contains an internal Java representation called bytecode. So JVM converts bytecode to executable instruction. The executable instructions are different in different operating system. So there are different JVMs for different operating system. A JVM for Windows is different from a JVM for Mac. However, both the JVM understand the bytecode and convert it to the executable code for the respective operating system. So it doesn't mean after a .class file will be generated, you can run it anywhere. So this is the actual mean of platform independence. That's why we also called it build once and run anywhere. So next is the bytecode, that is what is bytecode. So this is also one of the common question. So Java bytecode is the instruction set of the Java virtual machines. Each bytecode is composed of one or in some cases two bytes that represent the instructions, along with 0 or more bytes for passing parameters. So you can simply say that Java bytecode is the instruction set to the Java virtual machine. So this is basically a simple answer to this question. So next question is, this is one of the most asked question in the Java interviews. What are JDK, JVM and JRE, and how they are differentiate from each other? So answer to this question is, first of all, JDK stands for Java Development Kit, JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, and JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. So basically JVM is a virtual machine that runs the Java bytecode, and in previous slides we have seen how we can generate this bytecode. And second point about JVM is it makes Java portable, that we have also seen in the previous slides. So second is the JRE. So JRE basically is the combination of JVM plus libraries plus other components. for example to run applets and other Java applications. And third one is the JDK. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. So basically it contains JRE plus compilers plus debugger. For understanding it in details, you can refer this diagram. Here we have a JVM and then JRE. JRE contains JVM and then JDK, and JDK contains JRE. So next is the what are the important differences between C++ and Java. So let's see answer of this question. So yeah, C++ is not a platform independent, but Java is a platform independent. Also in C++ one can write structural programs without using objects, and also Java is pure object oriented language. Not pure object oriented language, but more kind of pure object oriented language except for primitive variables. Also C++ has pointers and access to internal memory, but Java has no concept called pointers. And next is the programmer has to handle memory management in C++. A programmer has to write code to remove an object from the memory, but in Java JVM takes care of removing object from the memory is using a process called garbage collection. We will see what is garbage collections and how it works in this interview series. That there will be a separate video in future for this garbage collections and related its interview questions. Also C++ supports multiple inheritance, but Java does not support multiple inheritance. So these are the basic differences between C++ and Java. So if interviewer asked you about differences between C++ and Java, then you can say all these points in the answer of this question. So next important question is what is class loader and what is the role of class loader in Java. So let's see answer to this question. So yeah, a Java program is as we know, a Java program is made of number of custom classes written by programmer like us and core classes. So basically a Java program is a combination of custom classes plus core classes, that is predefined classes. And when a program is executed, JVM needs to load the content of all the needed classes. So how JVM will load all the content of all the needed classes? So for that JVM uses a class loader to find the classes. So this is the main purpose. JVM class loader is used by JVM to load all the content of the needed classes. So basically how many types of class loader are there in Java? So basically there are three main types of class loader in Java. First one is the system class loader. It loads all the classes from the class path file. Second one is the extension class loader. It loads all the classes from the extension directory. So if you check your Java directory where Java is installed, then there is a extension class loader directory as well. The next is the bootstrap class loader. So bootstrap class loader loads all the classes, all the Java core files. So here you can see this in the diagram. We have a bootstrap class loader. It loads all the classes, core Java files, or we can say the core Java classes. Then extension class loader, it loads all the Java classes from the extension directory. And here is the path JRE, ext, lib, and etc. Then third one is the system class loader. System class loader loads all the files from the class path. So how class loader comes into the picture? So let's understand it more. So when a JVM needs to find a class, it starts with the system class loader. So first control goes to the system class loader. Then if it is not found in the system class loader, then it checks with the extension class loader. So if any class is not found in the system class loader, then request goes to the extension class loader. And if it is still not found in the extension class loader, then it goes to the bootstrap class loader. And if still class is not found in the bootstrap class loader, then it gives you a class not found exception. So basically a class not found exception is thrown when class is not found in any of the class loader. So if interviewer asks you when class not found exception comes, then you can say that when a system class loader not able to find any class, then request goes to the extension class loader, and if extension class loader also not able to find that class, then it goes to the bootstrap class loader, and if class is not found in the bootstrap class loader as well, then class not found exception occurs. So this is the main purpose of class loader. So yeah, that's all for this tutorial. Hope you guys are able to understand this. Please do subscribe to our channel so that you cannot miss further videos of this interview series and also other technology related tutorials. So thanks for watching guys.